Bloody, bloody, blah. Hello, everyone. This is Eva from the Garden of Eve. And unfortunately, I had to change my podcast name show from the 10-minute shit show to Inner Gardening with Eve. And even though that is still a nice name, I think, I was a bit upset because I really enjoyed the humorous name. I think it is very helpful to talk about these kind of things with a little bit of humor. But unfortunately, other podcast platforms weren't approving my podcast because it had the name shit in it, and it was also troublesome to have some special signs, for example, to use H and asterisk and then T. So I just decided to don't make it hard on myself and stress myself out too much. I just changed it, and I hope everyone is fine with it. Luckily, I don't have that many episodes yet, so it shall be fine. So welcome to Inner Gardening with Eve. And today I wanted to talk a little bit more about a sense of belonging, because that has been the topic of my day. And actually it has been the topic in my life for a long time, but today it was something that I've been thinking about a lot, because in relation to being diagnosed as having autism, or being autistic, that is the pronunciation that I prefer. I just don't feel like I belong to either the neurotypical world or the autistic community. I feel like I am somewhere in between. And I realized that this is something that goes back way before in my childhood. I guess it's more of an abandonment wound and not feeling like I belong to the original tribe, the family. That's how I see the family, as some sort of mini tribe, sometimes also as a mini cult. I'm sorry, family, but yeah. it's my way of perceiving it. And I think that is where it started, because I don't have really a sense of belonging in to a certain group. But it also makes it very interesting, because I at the moment I don't really feel like I belong to a certain group, and I've had this for a long time, and I keep measuring new identities to myself. I keep accepting new labels from other people. I keep giving them to myself. And in some ways, giving yourself labels or accepting labels helps us to communicate with each other about the things that we struggle with, or about the things that we find interesting. So it's not necessarily bad, but I do think that labels cannot capture us in our full entirety. And if we try to and continue to search outward for a sense of belonging, we forget that the true belonging is within ourselves. And I guess that is what the childhood wound is all about. It's not so much feeling like I belong to a family, but feeling like the family accepts me for who I truly am. And that's where it starts, because then it results into becoming a teenager, a young adult, and now an adult who doesn't accept herself for who she truly is. And I see this pattern in other people as well. So that's why I think it's very important to talk about it, because now I have some sort of grip on what is going on. And I realize that I am not fully there yet, because I still struggle with the need to wanting to belong to some sort of group, some sort of tribe. But I know now that I belong to myself. and that I am capable of validating my own emotions, validating my own need, realizing my own worth, all that kind of stuff. So I came to the conclusion that I don't really need those labels to find a sense of belonging. That's also, I guess it's a bit more spiritual, because then I refer now to the ego. I think it's part of that whole explanation, that the ego wants to find some identity to latch onto, and with that identity, for example, with the autism identity, what I see in the autistic community is that many people lash out at the world around them for not treating them the way they want to be treated. And I'm not saying that is a bad thing, because I don't believe so much in good and bad anymore. But what was I about to say? Sometimes I lose my train of thought. Well, the lashing out helps with seeing another group of people as the wrong group of people, the people with the wrong ideas, and it confirms that you have the right ideas, that the labels you have given to yourself are the right labels, or the labels that other people have given to you are the right labels. And it loses the perspective that there are multiple perspectives, and that we and that basically that we are so much more than these labels, and that we are capable of continually evolving in our ideas. And I've always known this, and sometimes I fall back into the ego, sometimes I fall back into needing a label to be able to rationalize things for myself, and that's okay sometimes because it helps, but it also causes me to forget that I am just who I am, and I belong to me, and I don't need to seek for the external validation that I've always been looking for, because I didn't get it as a child. And it's just a wound, an abandonment wound that keeps repeating itself over and over again. And each time that I see this wound appearing in my life, I get these new realizations or old realizations, and I heal a little bit more. And I am more capable of acknowledging my own emotions, of finding that love for myself and validating myself, and not being so attached to all these ideas or wanting to see another group as being bad. And I feel very relieved that I've had these revelations today, and that's why I wanted to share them with you. I hope that if you struggle with feeling like you don't belong, that you can realize that you belong to yourself, and that your being is just being, is all the worthiness, and is everything you ever need. It's all just inside you. And again, today this made so much sense to me, and I just had to share it, talk about it. And I hope that it helps someone else out there. And I'm glad that I've had this experience. So thank you for listening to this 10-minute podcast show, which is now called Inner Gardening with Eve. And you can find me on social media at The Garden of Eve. My website is www.thegardenofeve.org if you want to know more about me. And I hope you have a wonderful evening, day, whenever you are listening this. And I really, if you need any permission, then I want to give you the permission to give yourself the permission to love yourself and accept yourself now. And you don't have to seek it elsewhere. Just keep reminding yourself of that everything you need is inside of you. And you can figure it all out. Or maybe you don't even need to figure it out. I guess that's more accurate. So yeah, thank you for listening. Bye bye.